I was homeless and addicted to heroin, cocaine, and alcohol. I turned 30 and I am finishing my master's degree in accounting. I'll answer your questions. I lived on the street for over a year when I was 18, 19 years old. I was addicted to almost all types of drugs except methamphetamine. I hung out with very shady people, most of whom either died or are in prison. I was shot, stabbed, and beaten with a baseball bat. Throughout my teenage years, I was arrested a total of 20 times for various offenses. I have had everything you can possibly get sick with except maybe cancer. About 30 bones were broken, nerve damage in the hand, and even pancreatitis, which almost killed me. But 6 years ago, I joined uni to make up for lost time. I'm about to earn a master's degree and a job at an accounting firm. In my current environment, highly conservative, I avoid discussing my past and the experiences I've had in life. Many of my friends and family are unaware of the difficulties I've faced in the past 12 years. Ask your questions. Updated. This is a disposable account for obvious reasons. I don't have the opportunity to discuss my past in real life, so I want to talk here. It will make me feel better. Thank you, individuals I don't know. What made you quit and change the course of your life? I'm not completely tied up. Sometimes I drink a little. The reason I use strong substances is depression. I had a bad relationship with my family, and as banal as it may sound, I found liberation in drugs. Realized needed to change something in my life when arrested multiple times for weed and almost got jailed for another drug. Meanwhile, my friend hung out with shady individuals who were successively apprehended in the battle against drugs. My life suddenly started falling apart, and that's when I started to think about what the fuck I'm doing. Tell me about a knife attack. How are you? Do you still owe money to the hospital? At 16, I dated a girl with a psycho ex. While hanging out at her place, her ex suddenly showed up and started ringing the doorbell. I approached the door, went out, and asked him to leave. He pulled out a knife, tried to hit me, and I was very lucky that I managed to grab his wrist. Fight went on in yard. At one point, he sat on me with a knife, chests, while I was holding his hand, attempting to push away the fool. Fight endured, but I managed. Push him away. Leap out. Rushed into house, rushed out through back door. Girlfriend locked doors. Fortunately, knife not deep, but bleeding profusely. I was 16 and I didn't. Alert parents. In this case, thus, the optimal solution appeared to be to adhere the wound with tape. A few days later, I tore it off. No bleeding, but needed stitches. Seemed to me through. The wound may be. Observe muscle. Luckily, in a way, I didn't catch an infection and the wound healed, but I still have a pretty rough scar. I never visited the hospital or the police station. I had a few frozen friends with whom I went to the house of this psycho. We beat him up thoroughly, and then we smashed the cars of all the members of his family one by one while he was watching. That's it. After that, I saw him a few times in the area, but we both tried to avoid one another. What caused you to roll down the slope? And what events happened before you said, "What the fuck am I doing?" My parents divorced when I was 16. I frequently fought with my father. At that time, my height was 180 centimeters, and I weighed just 54 kilograms. And my dad was 1 meter 90 and weighed 113 kilograms. He regularly beat me. I started dating a girl who had geeky friends. Drugs have always been available. Honestly, I enjoyed the feeling of drugs. And how with their help, I forgot how much I hate life. Then I didn't know that I had terrible depression. What the fuck am I doing, I asked myself while being in a madhouse, in which I got twice. 2-day charge for drug storage. They were strictly punished for possessing grass during that time. No fines, as it is currently. On another occasion, it happened when I stood before the judge and didn't know if I would get probation, or a true term. Luckily, due to the error, they couldn't review my past history, so I was assigned to community service and placed on probation. My lawyer said he had never seen anyone like that. Fortunate, I noticed in this cosmic sign that it's crucial to gather together. How did you pay for your addiction? Did you steal, scheme, or what? It's not easy to find that much money. I have a few buddy sticks and they will do anything in order to obtain cash. Yes, I did a lot of shady shit, stole a lot. I was well known in all pawn shops, often stole from cars. Sometimes I helped the dealer and he paid me with drugs. At that time, I knew a lot of dealers, so I could easily get what I needed. I sold it myself. He returned to the dealer what he needed, and he used what was left over himself. At times, I weighed buyers, doses gradually collected from the remaining, didn't have to trade my ass or mouth for a dose. Fortunately, my ass is still virgin and my mouth is not working. So yes, there were problems with money, but any junkie will tell you that you will do anything just to get your dose as soon as possible. Who do you want to apologize to? Before everyone, who did he steal from? In front of everyone who sold drugs, I had a negative impact on many people, left a trail of negativity wherever I went. I want to take all the pain I caused and absorb it into myself.
Any illnesses from drug use? Hepatitis, HIV? No hospital rehabilitation? How did you handle the breakdown? You've been using many drugs, and going through withdrawal without medical help can be risky. Congrats on changing your life. It's not easy, but it seems like you're doing great. Luckily, there's no illness. I always try to be careful, no matter how stupid it may sound, considering that I used heroin. But a breakdown is the worst thing I have ever experienced. Once, when I felt shitty, a good acquaintance who knew everything sheltered me for a week in her living room. Had a feeling I was gonna die. Constant sweating. Stinky, thick, slimy sweat. All week I had severe diarrhea, plus a terrible fever and shaking. I felt that terrible cold, then as if boiling. I involuntarily twitched. I could hardly speak. From my ass, some slag flowed in a continuous stream. I felt like my brain had a week-long seizure. I could sleep only 5 or 10 minutes. My girlfriend took good care of me, constantly gave me something to drink. Finally, I feel relieved. A few days after the disappearance of the symptoms, I gathered enough strength to get out of bed. I don't want to experience this anymore. Yes, probably it would be wiser if professionals were watching over me, but what can I say? I was young and arrogant. I didn't want anyone to see me in such a state. Why don't you tell your friends and family about what you've been through? They have details, but not about my heroin issues or the fact that someone attempted to end my life. My mom gets nervous about every little thing, and I don't want to burden her with stress, especially about things that happened to me a long time ago. And those friends, whom I knew from school, never asked where I disappeared. They accepted me as if I hadn't disappeared for years. I think it's a mix of shame and fear of disappointing people who love me. Did you give head for coke? The fact that this question was asked 5 hours after the thread was created restored my faith in humanity. And by the way, no, what are your religious, spiritual beliefs and why? I myself have chronic health problems. How do you follow all the necessary things for a healthy lifestyle? Diet, avoiding drug relapse, exercise, and more. In short, I do not believe in God, however, my own moral and ethical beliefs largely coincide with the beliefs of my religious friends. My main objection to religion is that religious people need a book that tells them how to be a good person and believe in a bearded brother in heaven who threatens eternal sauna punishment if they don't obey. This is my view in 2 words. I don't want to delve into it to avoid offending anyone. I have no problems with religion and believers. It's just not my thing, but I respect their choice. However, I believe that everything you do comes back as boomerangs. This can be called karma. I strive to do as many good things as I can because I believe that in the end they will come back to me. Well, when it comes to not losing it, it became quite simple after I successfully quit heroin. The first week I felt like I was gonna die, my motivation never to feel this again. Recently, I broke my jaw while removing a wisdom tooth and became dependent on painkillers. After I stopped taking them, I had withdrawal symptoms for a few days, so now I need to be very careful about what medications I take. My diet could be better, but I cook everything myself because it's important for me to know what exactly I eat. I can't lift heavy weights because of a damaged nerve, so I work with light weights for many repetitions. I'll never be Hulk, so I try to maintain myself and do cardio. Even if you're just walking, you're burning calories. It's important to stay active and take care of your body. My main focus is always on accomplishing tasks. When you're busy, there's no room for things that will disrupt your life and cause problems. How did you pay for your education, educational subsidies, and a bunch of student loans that were not ideal? Maybe it sounds strange, but do you have any positive memories of living on the street? Any moments that restored your faith in humanity? Great question. There weren't that many positive moments. An excellent manager at McDonald's provided me with food, allowed me to warm up in the hall, and engaged in lengthy conversations with me at night discussing highly personal topics. I recall being happy whenever I saw that it would be his shift tonight. Unlike others, he never judged me and always listened. I despised nights without him. I had no one to talk to. There was another specific case when I stole food. There was a stand with bread near a shopping center, kind of to show what types they have in stock. It seemed to me that I took the bread unnoticed, but while eating it on the bench, a store employee came to me. I sensed that there would be problems now, but she offered me to take something else for free. I was embarrassed and pretended that I didn't need anything. She came back with a hot soup, sandwich, fruits and chips. I was extremely thankful that I nearly shed tears. I never spoke to her again, but I vividly remember that incident. It was something that stood out in my mind the most. In fact, there are many kind brothers and girls. Life has shown me that it is necessary to be modest and never judge anyone because everyone is fighting their own battle.